Have you ever looked at someone speaking English fluently and thought, they're lucky, they probably had an amazing teacher? Maybe you've told yourself, I can't join an English class right now. I don't have anyone to practice with. I'll start learning when I find a good teacher. But what if I told you that some of the world's most successful English learners became fluent without a classroom, without expensive coaching, and sometimes without ever speaking to a native English speaker? Yes, it's true. Today, you have something more powerful than many students had 20 years ago. You have access to thousands of English videos, podcasts, books, conversations, dictionaries, and AI tools right in your pocket. The real question isn't, do you have a teacher? The real question is, do you have the right learning system? Because that's exactly what creates fluency. And in today's video, I'll show you a step-by-step roadmap to learn English completely on your own. These are the same principles used by successful language learners across the world. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do every day, even if you're studying alone. So let's begin. First, let's destroy the biggest myth in English learning. Many people believe a teacher teaches English. Actually, a teacher can guide you. A teacher can correct your mistakes. A teacher can motivate you. But only you can train your brain to understand and speak English. Educational psychologist Benjamin Bloom, famous for his work on mastery learning, showed that consistent practice and feedback are far more important than simply attending classes. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. A coach can explain everything perfectly. But until you start pedaling, nothing changes. English is exactly the same. The person who practices every day improves. The person who waits for the perfect teacher usually stays in the same place. Now here's another interesting fact. Linguist Stephen Krashen introduced a powerful idea called the input hypothesis. He explained that languages are acquired when learners understand meaningful messages that are just a little above their current level. Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say, memorize 500 grammar rules. He didn't say, study difficult vocabulary lists every night. Instead, he emphasized understanding. Your brain learns English naturally when it hears and reads English that it can mostly understand. That's exactly how children learn their first language. They don't begin with grammar books. They begin with listening. Thousands of hours of listening. Then speaking starts naturally. You can follow the same principle. Every day, surround yourself with understandable English. Watch YouTube videos made for learners. Listen to simple podcasts. Read short stories. Watch interviews with subtitles. Little by little, your brain starts recognizing patterns without even realizing it. Now imagine two students. The first student studies grammar for 2 hours every day. The second student spends 1 hour listening to easy English, 30 minutes reading, and 30 minutes speaking aloud. After 6 months, who do you think speaks more naturally? For most learners, the second student. Because language is a skill, not just information. You don't become fluent by collecting knowledge. You become fluent by using the language. So from today, don't ask, how much grammar did I study? Ask, how much English did I actually use today? That single question can completely change your progress. Now let's talk about something that scares almost every learner. Speaking alone. Many people say, I don't have anyone to practice with. Here's the truth. You don't need another person to begin speaking English. You only need your voice. Olympic athletes often imagine themselves performing before competitions. Psychologists call this mental rehearsal. Your brain becomes stronger through repeated practice, even before the real event. You can do something similar with English. Describe your actions throughout the day. I'm making breakfast. I'm washing my hands. I'm opening the window. I need to answer this email. I'm going to the market. These sentences may seem simple, but they train your brain to produce English automatically. After a few weeks, you'll notice something amazing. Instead of translating, you'll start thinking directly in English. And that's when real fluency begins. Now let's build your daily self-learning routine. The first habit: listen every single day. Not once a week. Not only on weekends. Every day. Even 20 minutes makes a difference. Choose English that's slightly above your current level. Not too easy. Not too difficult. If you understand around 80% of what you're hearing, you're learning. Don't stop the video every few seconds to check every unknown word. Focus on understanding the message. Your brain is smarter than you think. The more often it hears common words together, the more naturally it learns sentence patterns. That's exactly how fluency develops. Not one word at a time, but one meaningful sentence at a time. Now here's a challenge. For the next 7 days, replace just 20 minutes of scrolling through social media with 20 minutes of listening to English. That's only 140 minutes in an entire week. But those 140 minutes can completely change the way your brain processes English. And remember, you don't need perfect conditions. You don't need expensive coaching. You don't need to live in another country. You simply need to show up every single day, because consistency beats intensity. Every time. In the next part, we'll discover the most effective way to improve your vocabulary without memorizing endless word lists, how to think directly in English, and the simple speaking exercises that can dramatically improve your confidence, even if you're completely alone. Now that you understand why daily exposure is more important than having a teacher, let's move to the next step. This step changes everything. Stop memorizing words. Start living with words. Have you ever learned 50 new English words in one day, only to forget most of them a week later? If your answer is yes, you're not alone. The problem isn't your memory. The problem is how you're learning. Vocabulary expert Paul Nation, whose research has influenced English education worldwide, explains that learners remember words much better when they meet them repeatedly in meaningful contexts, not as isolated items on a list. Think about the word book. If you simply memorize, book equals a set of printed pages, you'll probably forget it. But imagine hearing these sentences over several days and reading a book before bed. You recommend a good book. I bought this book yesterday. This is my favorite book. Now your brain begins to recognize not only the word, but also how people naturally use it. That's real learning, so instead of trying to memorize 100 random words today, learn 10 useful words, then use them in 10 different sentences. Your goal isn't to collect vocabulary. Your goal is to make vocabulary part of your daily life. Now here's another powerful habit. Read every day. Reading is like having a silent English teacher with you all the time. Every sentence teaches grammar naturally. Every paragraph introduces useful vocabulary. Every story improves your understanding. You don't need difficult novels. Start with simple English stories. Read short articles. Read YouTube subtitles. Read conversations. Read children's books if necessary. There's absolutely no shame in starting easy. In fact, starting easy helps you improve faster because you understand more, and understanding creates confidence. Here's a simple reading technique. Read the same short passage 3 times. The first time, read for the general meaning. The second time, notice useful words and expressions. The third time, read aloud. This single exercise improves your reading, your pronunciation, and your speaking at the same time. Now let's talk about one of the biggest secrets of fluent speakers. They think in English. Most learners have a habit like this. They think in their native language, then translate into English, then speak. This takes time, and it makes conversations stressful instead. Train your brain to think directly in English. Start with tiny thoughts. I'm thirsty. It's a beautiful morning. My phone battery is low. I need to buy vegetables. The weather is nice today. Don't worry if your sentences are simple. Simple English is still English. As your vocabulary grows, your thoughts will naturally become more detailed. Soon you'll find yourself thinking, I should finish my work before dinner because I want to watch an English movie tonight. Notice something, no translation, just English. That's the goal. Here's another exercise. Look around your room, choose any object, now describe it using English. For example, this chair is brown, it's comfortable, I bought it last year. I use it every day. Then move to another object, your table, your bag, your shoes, your laptop, your water bottle. This simple activity trains your brain to produce English without pressure. Now let's discuss something that many learners fear, making mistakes. Here's the truth. Mistakes are not signs of failure, they're signs of progress. Psychologist Carol Dweck, famous for her research on the growth mindset, found that people improve much faster when they see mistakes as opportunities to learn instead of proof that they're not talented. Every fluent English speaker you admire has made thousands of mistakes. They mispronounced words, they used incorrect grammar, they forgot vocabulary. The difference is, they didn't stop. So from today, replace this sentence: afraid of making mistakes. With this one, every mistake teaches me something new. That small change can completely transform your confidence. Now let's build another daily habit. Write for just 10 minutes every day. You don't need to write essays, simply write about your day. What did you do? What did you eat? What are your plans? What made you happy? What challenged you? Writing helps organize your thoughts, and when you organize your thoughts, speaking becomes easier too. Here's an even better idea after writing your diary. Read it aloud. Now you're practicing writing, reading, speaking, and pronunciation, all in one activity. That's smart learning. Remember, learning English alone doesn't mean learning without guidance. It means taking responsibility for your own progress. Your phone can become your classroom. Your bedroom can become your speaking club. Your daily routine can become your English course. You don't need perfect conditions. You need consistent action. In the next part, we'll discover how to practice speaking without a partner, the best free resources you can use every day, and a simple 30-minute routine that can dramatically improve your English within a few months. Now, let's answer one of the biggest questions English learners ask. How can I practice speaking if I don't have a speaking partner? The answer might surprise you. You don't need another person to improve your speaking. You need consistent speaking practice. Think about a famous musician. Before performing on a big stage, they don't practice only during concerts. They practice alone, hour after hour, day after day. Language works the same way. Fluency is built during private practice long before it appears in public conversations. So here's your first exercise. Become your own English narrator. Throughout the day, describe everything you're doing. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm making coffee. I'm checking my emails. I'm walking to the store. The weather feels wonderful today. At first, these sentences may seem too simple, but remember, every fluent speaker started with simple sentences. Complex conversations are simply many simple sentences connected together. Now let's make this exercise even better. Every evening, spend 2 or 3 minutes talking about your day. Imagine you're speaking to a close friend. What happened today? What did you learn? What made you laugh? What problems did you solve? Don't worry about grammar. Don't stop to search for perfect words. Keep speaking. Your goal is flow, not perfection. Now here's another powerful method. Record yourself. Most learners avoid this because they don't like hearing their own voice. But recording yourself is one of the fastest ways to improve. When you listen to your recording, you'll notice things you never realized while speaking. Maybe you're speaking too fast. Maybe you're repeating the same word again and again. Maybe your pronunciation needs improvement. That's valuable feedback. Professional athletes watch recordings of their performances. Professional speakers watch recordings of their presentations. You can do the same with your English. Every week, record yourself talking for 2 minutes on the same topic. For example, my goals. After 1 month, compare your first recording with your latest one. You'll be amazed by your progress. Now let's talk about pronunciation. Many learners think they need a perfect accent. Actually, clear pronunciation is much more important than sounding exactly like a native speaker. Your goal is communication, not imitation. One of the best techniques for improving pronunciation is called shadowing. Here's how it works. Choose a short English video, listen to one sentence, immediately repeat it. Try to copy the speaker's rhythm, stress, intonation, and emotion. If the speaker sounds excited, you sound excited. If the speaker sounds calm, you sound calm. You're not only learning words, you're learning how English feels. This method is recommended by many language coaches because it trains your ears and your mouth at the same time. Now let's discuss motivation. Have you ever started learning English with excitement, only to quit after 2 weeks? That's completely normal. Psychologist James Clear, in his work on habits, explains that lasting success comes from building systems, not relying on motivation. Motivation changes. Some days you'll feel excited, other days you won't. But habits continue even when motivation disappears. So instead of saying, study English whenever I feel motivated, I study English every day at 7 p.m. Notice the difference. One depends on emotion. The other depends on routine. Routine always wins. Now here's a simple daily plan you can follow. First, listen to English for 10 minutes. Choose a podcast, story, or YouTube video. Just focus on understanding. Second, read for 10 minutes. Underline useful phrases. Don't memorize everything. Just notice how sentences are formed. Third, speak for 5 minutes. Describe your day. Explain what you learned. Talk about your future plans. Fourth, write for 5 minutes. Keep a simple journal in English. Congratulations. That's only 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes, no classroom, no teacher, no expensive course, just focused practice. Now imagine doing this every day for 6 months. That's more than 180 hours of English practice. Think about how much your confidence would grow, how many words you'd recognize, how naturally you'd start speaking. Small daily actions create extraordinary results. Never underestimate consistency. In the final part of this video, we'll bring everything together, talk about the biggest mistakes self-learners make, and leave you with a powerful message that will completely change the way you think about learning English. Let's finish strong.